It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball. Deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Tuesday bonus edition of Flippin Bats. We already had one episode come out today, and this episode is this week in Shohei Ohtani news. By the way, Alex, we also have Cal Raleigh coming on tomorrow.
The big dumper.
We just got a ton of things going on
week.
right now. And any chance that I can put on this shirt and look ridiculous, you got to take it, right?
I told you right before we started the show, I was like, I can't even look at your face. I'm like looking at you, and I just see 100 Ohtanis staring into my soul, and I'm okay with that. I love Tuesdays because of this shirt.
Great. I love Tuesdays as well. So, by the way, we already had one really good episode today. Everything going on in baseball, which is a lot, and Cal Raleigh tomorrow. But I love Tuesdays, Alex, because it is time for my favorite segment of all time this week in Shohei Ohtani news.
Woo!
We're going to talk about his stats on the field. We're going to talk about 5 stats that are absolutely mind-blowing about him on the pitcher's mound. And we're going to give a little AL Cy Young update for the man himself, Shohei Ohtani. But Alex, let's start with his week that we just saw from the man himself. On the mound is where he has been arguably the best in baseball this year. And again this week, it was lights out. 7 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, and 2 hits on Friday against the Kansas City Royals. I watch him take the mound every about 6th day and have continued to be amazed. And I feel like I've said it every single time this year that I just don't feel like we've seen him at his best yet, which is crazy to say, right? Because as you'll hear with these stats in just a minute, like it's hard to be any better. But the reason I've been saying that is because it feels like almost every start this year, it's been taking him 1 or 2 innings to find himself, to really get to that point where he's locked in. And I just felt like at some point, knowing Shohei, he's going to figure it out and come into the game locked in. And we saw that against Kansas City. It was the first start of the year for me. From the word go, from the very start to his very finish, it was the perfect Shohei Ohtani performance. So on the mound, he stayed locked in this week in that start against the Royals. And offensively this week, it was a bit of a struggle for Shohei this week until Sunday.
He likes to hit home runs on Sundays.
It's always Sundays.
He loves
Alex,
those Sundays.
We were preparing for this show today and talking about what we were going to talk about with Shohei and his offense and what direction we were going to go. And I said, and I quote, well, it's Sunday. He's going to hit a homer, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And guess what? He hit a homer on Sunday, went 2 for 3 at the plate. His average is up to 266 on the year now after that Sunday performance, including one of his hits. He had the home run and he had the infield single, but the home run, Alex, was back to back to back. Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, back to back to back. Can I just say for a second, I saw a lot of this out there. Obviously, Shohei and Mike Trout are the greatest players on planet Earth, right? So when they go back to back, it's talked about a lot. Can we make sure we put some respect on Taylor Ward's name?
Yes,
it was
please.
back to back to back. There were 3 of them, and Taylor Ward started it. Put the respect on his name. It was awesome to see. And then, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually, it's happened before, but it's the first time that it's happened.
With the 3 of them, it's happened before?
Different first player, but with Trout Ohtani back to back to back. It happened for the Angels on June 8th, 2019 against Seattle, and it was Tommy La Stella, Trout, Ohtani.
I would not have. I was going to say, let me try and guess. I wonder who it is. I would not have guessed Tommy La Stella. Wow. Back to back to back. And then what I like to see later, he really covered all spectrums here. He had the home run, which was an absolute bomb to deep right center field. And then his next at bat after that, he had an infield single, which looked to be just a routine out. Ball hit to the first baseman, First baseman catches it cleanly and takes off to first base, but it ended up being just a race to the bag against Shohei. Well, he lost that race, and Shohei won that race because that is how fast the man is. Shohei, last year, Alex, this is an interesting fact, and I always talk about this because I feel like it is the most undervalued part of his game. We know Shohei is one of the most elite power hitters in the game. We know he's one of a Cy Young caliber pitcher. But what we don't talk about often is his speed. And I tweeted this on Sunday. Many people don't realize this or talk about this aspect of his game enough. But last season, the MLB player that averaged the fastest time from home to first, Shohei Ohtani. Isn't that remarkable? He's one of the fastest players in baseball, and we saw it on display on Sunday.
I remember this being kind of an internal conversation when he came to the Angels. Like, who do you think is faster? Because we saw it right away. Like, oh, wow, he's got wheels. But we also have Mike Trout on the Angels, who was also one of the fastest guys in the league at some point. And there was this conversation, do we have him do a race? Like, who would win it if you got Trout and Ohtani? This was when he first came to the Angels. But, yeah, no, they're both lights out. Lights out.
Yeah, it is remarkable what I mean, it's almost like I feel like it's not talked about as much because it's almost hard to believe. Because you're talking about,
like, can he be good at everything?
How good he is pitching and how good he is hitting. And it's like, can he be the fastest guy in baseball? Can he be good at everything? Well, the answer is no, because he can't zip up a jacket, as we saw last week. So we finally found the one thing. But it's just been remarkable. Another good Sunday for Shohei. There have been 4 Sundays in April, and he has had a home run in 3 of those 4.
Yeah. Sundays are for Shohei home runs.
Shohei Sunday.
Yeah.
Shohei Sunday.
I'm here for it.
So, Alex, I mentioned that I have 5 of the most insane stats about Shohei Ohtani that you can ever say about a certain player, and I need the world to know this. So let's move on now to the 5 most insane facts you'll ever hear about Shohei pitching so far this year. First off, Shohei has allowed just a .092 opponent batting average this year. And you might say that's pretty good. Well, that is the lowest in a pitcher's first 5 starts in a season since the mound was moved to its current distance in 1893. 1893.
Yep.
And that's when the mound was closer to home plate. He's allowed just 8 hits out of 105 batters faced. That's the fewest in a pitcher's first 5 starts since at least 1901. Now, I know there's a lot of stats being thrown at you here, but really take these in. He's allowed 8 hits out of 105 batters.
Mm-hmm.
Insanity. Of those 8 hits, just 2 have gone for extra bases. Slugging percentage against is just .115. That, as you guessed, is the lowest in a player's first 5 games in a pitcher's season since at least 1916. He's allowed 3 hits or fewer in each of his last 9 starts dating back to last season. That's the second longest streak amongst traditional pitchers since 1893. These are mind-blowing to even read. And lastly, Ohtani now has 12 games with at least 10 strikeouts since the start of last season. That is the most in Major League Baseball in that span. It's unheard of.
It's like you kind of have to take a moment and let that marinate and really understand the history and how long it's been. Like over a century since anybody has even come close to doing a lot of the things that he's doing right now on the mound, which is incredible, and which kind of leads me to my question to you. Because after hearing all of those pitching stats, letting him really sink in, there's no doubt that he's atop the AL Cy Young conversation right now.
Yeah.
But if the season ended today, right now, is he the AL Cy Young winner? Because we have another pitcher in the American League, Gerrit Cole, who's having an incredible start to the season between these two guys. I mean, it's different stats for both. But right now, if you had to pick, is it Ohtani?
You know, we talked about this a bit last year. I do feel like with these awards, if it's super close, the New York market tends to get a bit of a bump.
Always.
But I don't want to discredit Gerrit here and say that it would be because of that. Gerrit Cole's stats so far this year in 34 innings, he has a 0.79 ERA with 36 strikeouts in 34 innings. So what started this year, I feel like, was a conversation of, do you think Shohei could win the AL Cy Young Award? And it became like I think he's that talented. And now we're here about a month into the year, and it's, oh, yeah, Shohei absolutely can. And him and Gerrit Cole right now are neck and neck in terms of the odds to win the AL Cy Young Award. So if I had a vote right now, I don't see how you don't give it to Shohei. I really don't. I mean, all the statistics I just read off, like, those are all historic. Those are all things that haven't been done in over 100 years. So the start to his year, man, him and Gerrit are neck and neck. I believe these two have kind of pulled away from the pack a little bit in the AL Cy Young race. And again, it's still so early. If one guy has one bad start and Luis Castillo or somebody has another dominant start, then they're right back in the conversation. But these two really have pulled away a little bit in terms of the odds to win this award. And it's just crazy to even think about that if the season ended right now, there's a very real chance that Shohei Ohtani, who could hit 40 home runs and have the greatest season of all time, could win the MVP and Cy Young Award, which is crazy to say. And it'll be different than it's ever happened in the past, right? My brother included has won both in the same season.
Yeah.
But it ain't because he was hitting 40 home runs, I promise you that. He'd win MVP because he's going to hit 30, 40 home runs, maybe more, and also be the best pitcher in baseball. It's insanity. And Alex, I think that's a great question and something that people are very interested in. Can Shohei actually win the AL Cy Young Award this year? My answer is yes. And if the season ended right now, it'd be hard not to give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, those are incredible historic stats that you listed off. Huge shout out to Sarah Langs for that article and coming up and really bringing those to light of all the historic century long since it's happened stats. But it's undeniable. And it's one of those things that I try to remind people why, like, appreciate greatness when it's right in front of your face. And we are seeing greatness right now with Shohei Ohtani on the mound, at the plate, around the base path. Like, it is so fun to see and to witness in real time right now. So, I mean, I hope, obviously both of us hope he keeps going. Absolutely.
As you mentioned, shout out to Sarah Langs for that. I love Sarah Langs.
Yeah.
She is awesome and is so good at what she does with all the statistics she pulls. So shout out to her for that. And as you mentioned, Alex, and to finish up this week in Shohei Ohtani news, I truly believe that people struggle to appreciate greatness while it's happening. Mm-hmm. I really do. I feel like what typically happens is you look back in 20, 50, 100 years and say, oh my God, that guy existed? For example, Babe Ruth, in a time where the home run wasn't really a thing in baseball, came along and hit over 700. But I truly, and I know you do as well, love to appreciate greatness in the moment because I understand that these sort of things happen, and I don't want to let that pass me by. I know that I have a voice in the baseball world, and while the greatest talent in the history of baseball is doing what he's doing, I'm going to continue to talk about that because it's special and it should be talked about. And he had another special week and is having certainly a great year, if not on pace to have what could be the greatest baseball season of all time. So another great week, and that does it for this week in Shohei Ohtani news. This has been a good Tuesday.
It's been a great Tuesday.
This has been a great week so far. A big Tuesday, 2 episodes. The first one that came out earlier today, and then tomorrow, Cal Raleigh.
The big dumper.
The big dumper.
I can't wait.
Big dumper. It gets me every time.
It's hilarious.
Great. And he's going to talk all about that. I'm also going to ask him all about this Mariners team and the rotation that he catches and Julio Rodriguez and just how much of a superstar he is. it really is going to be a great conversation with the guy. I'm pumped to have him on. And, of course, Alex, the hit that ended the drought for the Mariners last year came off the bat of Cal Raleigh himself, and he kind of blacked out during that whole time. So we're going to have a blast of a conversation. That comes out tomorrow, overnight, first thing in the morning. Make sure you check it out Wednesday. But that does it for this bonus of Flippin' Bats that involved This Week in Shohei Ohtani News and this shirt that keeps staring at Alex, apparently.
I love it. I haven't even looked you. He looked you in the eye.
Alex doesn't look at me in the eye.
I'm just staring into Ohtani's eyes during this show.
She looks at the shirt, at Shohei's eyes. So thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out Flippin' Bats wherever you listen to your podcast. Subscribe or follow. Click that plus button. Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you can watch every episode, including seeing me in this shirt, on YouTube at Flippin' Bats Pod for all of them. But for this Tuesday bonus edition of Flippin' Bats, that does it. And until next time, I will see you later.